The first trailer for Todd Phillips Joker Folie A Deux has been released online, and it gives us a great first look at the new film. The trailer focuses on the twisted love of both Joker and Harley Quinn, how the musical elements are going to be used in this film, some gorgeous imagery, and teases of a few crucial moments in the narrative. It's the kind of trailer that makes you leave your doubts at the door and look forward to what a new story in this world may bring. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you my reaction and breakdown for the Joker 2 trailer, discussing why it looks like a promising new installment in this separated Joker saga. The trailer will be linked in the description of this video if you haven't seen it already. Before I get into my breakdown of it though, if you want to see much more videos on Joker 2 leading up to its release date, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into the first trailer for Joker 2. So Joker Folie A Deux looks to be building on everything we got with the first film, with the trailer showing that through both music and a new love, Arthur Fleck isn't alone anymore. As the first film wrapped up with Arthur embracing his Joker persona and being taken to Arkham State Hospital, the trailer begins by showing us that he remains there. Whether he manages to break out at some point is left uncertain, but we do get multiple moments that point towards both an influence of reality and hallucination. It's a trailer that doesn't show too much, but gives us just enough to sell the tone, the approach they are taking with the musical aspects, and the expansion of Arthur's story too. And speaking of expansion, the biggest aspect of this that is adding to the journey of Arthur is the introduction of Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. She is introduced quite early on, and it's evident that the film will be taking a fresh approach to that beloved character's backstory. In the comic book narrative, Harley starts off as a compassionate psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, and it's there that she crosses paths with the Joker, becoming captivated by the enigmatic villain. Eventually, she aids him in his escape and becomes his partner in crime, though their relationship is often just as toxic as it is affectionate. Joker 2 deviates from this as it seems that Harley may not be a psychiatrist. And while it's possible that she was one in the past before joining Arthur in the asylum, the trailer portrays her as a fellow patient alongside him. She appears to be well acquainted with Joker's actions, which, as we know, gave a voice to a lot of people in Gotham by the end of film 1. And instead of being repulsed by those actions, she seems to admire them. So already, this kind of change promises a fresh and captivating take on the character of Harley Quinn, and you would expect that after the swings they took with Joker in the first film. As the trailer progresses, we begin to see the transformation of Gaga's Quinn as she emulates Joker's actions from that original movie, imitating a gunshot with her fingers before playfully pretending to shoot, walking up the stairs in the same depressing manner as Arthur did before, performing a fresh take on the famous stair dance with Joker where it looks like she's actually pregnant, and then there's also the shot where she mimics what Joker did during the conclusion of the first film by painting a violent bright red smile using blood. It really looks like she's thriving in this role alongside Joaquin Phoenix, and I can't wait to see how her arc changes or differs from Arthur's when we finally see the film. And this brings me now to the aspect that a lot of people were worried about with this Joker sequel, and that is the musical numbers that it appears to be using as a storytelling tool. In the early moments of the trailer, a voice can be heard saying, "We use music to heal ourselves, to mend the broken pieces within." So right from the outset, this suggests that the music is being used as a form of therapy for the patients in the asylum, and it sets the stage for the twisted Joker-like take on it too. Feeling like a weird crossover between La La Land and Singing in the Rain, the trailer showcases vibrant sequences with both Joker and Harley performing against stunning backdrops. It becomes clear that these moments are figments of their imagination rather than reality, and one scene depicts this quite well as we see both of them dancing down the steps of a courthouse and someone alongside them holding a newspaper that reads "Free the Joker." While this looks like a product of Joker's unreliable narration, it's sequences like this which can add an intriguing layer to the character's perspective. Another great moment that highlights this is when we cut from a rooftop where Joker and Harley are dancing to a chaotic version of it in reality when they fall in love. It just shows how these moments are really building on what we got in the first film with the musical elements and hallucinations, but now in a more expansive way. We also get a few other shots of what appears to be the Joker and Harley show, being Arthur's imagination of aspiring to have his own show with her once they do fall in love. We saw how he looked up to Murray in the first movie, and then how that turned south when he actually went on that show. But now we've got a twisted live musical show ran by Arthur and Quinn, and a somewhat visualization of both the love and madness they share. You'd presume most of this is in Arthur's head, and that a lot of the movie would take place either in Arkham or in the courthouse where he's being tried. Still, there is also that moment in the footage where Joker appears to be on the run from imitators, and we don't know whether this is real or not. Regardless, you'd expect it to line up with that character theme from the end of Joker, where his figure has inspired madness within others. And I think it looks like he's on this fine line between embracing it or rejecting it. We'll have to see, but it's clear that Folie A Deux is going to be a deeper exploration of that story point, and I'm interested to see what message it does leave us with. Moving on, as the trailer reaches its final moments, we see that Joker is presumably being taken to a courtroom. The reason I say this is because the behind the scenes footage from the set showed that a court would be present in multiple scenes. At this location in the trailer, there's a crowd of followers around his car showing their support for him, with a few of them holding up signs and demanding that the Joker be freed. This is also where Gaga's Quinn shows up in her red costume shortly after too. And I think the culminating events of the film might go down at this courtroom, because the explosions we see towards the end of the trailer appear to be in some kind of courtroom with a TV camera. So I wouldn't be surprised if after Harley's transformation over the course of the movie, she shows up in costume at Arthur Fleck's trial and plans an explosion there to break him out. We see what looks to be Arthur launched by that same explosion, and maybe it's a case of even he didn't expect that Harley would go this far for him. We'll have to see if this turns out to be the case, but based on the early glimpses we've had, it looks like a lot of the movie will take place either in Arkham Asylum or that trial at the courtroom, and then the musical sequences will go beyond those two locations as we explore the madness of both Fleck and Quinn. The trailer also ends with quite a masterful shot of Arthur Fleck back behind bars, and with a stroke of her lipstick, Harley paints a smile on the glass, and Arthur's head aligns perfectly within the frame to create a powerful symbolic image. For me, it's a visual like this which implies that Todd Phillips' Joker sequel is aiming to be meaningful than it is a money-making comic book sequel. So with my breakdown out of the way, this brings me to my overall thoughts on the first trailer for Joker Folie A Deux. I thought the trailer was artistically stunning, and I have to be honest, I was completely sold on a lot of the elements they showed off. Now, I know a lot of people were both skeptical over the musical aspects, and that they were even making a sequel to a film that felt like a one and done, but if you can bring something different to the comic book genre, execute that well, and then present a reason why a sequel would be necessary, then it can work. And while this trailer is only a tease of what's to come, it definitely sold me on the approach that they are going in. The musical moments were actually some of my favourite moments from the trailer, acting as a kind of therapy for the main characters in a more artistic way that still stayed true to some of the musical scenes from that first film. Todd Phillips did come out on stage at CinemaCon last night and said that he doesn't see the movie as a straight up musical, and instead, the musical moments play a role that is similar to what we've seen, but just expanded. And that is promising to hear, because if these scenes do have a purpose and extend on the psychology of the Joker in an effective way, then how is that a bad thing? The cinematography on show during all of this has to be praised, and what we saw was both a potent mix of the grim and colourful landscape of the leading character. Think a twisted version of La La Land or even Chicago, with massive sets that use both wide and intimate camera angles. I also can't praise enough how genius that final shot was too, and I'm sure Joker 2 will have plenty of iconic shots that rival the great ones we saw in that original film. Another aspect that people were skeptical of going into this was the use of many song covers, and while we don't have a full idea of how that will be applied, and whether we'll get new and old songs as the reports suggested, the use of the song here did have effective meaning. The song that plays throughout the trailer is a cover of What the World Needs Is Love, a 1965 song first recorded by Jackie DeShannon. Even though Joker is set in the 1980s and includes music from that time, some scenes had music from other eras like the use of That's Life or White Room. So a blend of musical eras and genres can be applied in Folie A Deux and really emphasize on the tonal shifts of the plot and the mindset and relationship between both Joker and Harley. From an artistic perspective, this trailer gave me exactly what I expected, and it builds a lot of promise for the presentation of the film as a whole. And from a performance and storytelling side of things, while that is quite light in this footage, it's still promising when you see the expansion upon Arthur's story, the descent of Harley Quinn, and how their shared madness is beginning to form. You can tell in the backdrop of all this that the film is definitely going to have a prominent message about society or madness as a whole, and while this could always end up being a weak aspect if it's repeated, I have faith that Todd Phillips will deliver based on the footage that was shown. Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn looks great in the role as well, and I love the looks we got of her in multiple costumes and the evolution of her character. Having a multi-talented performer like this who can act, has an incredible voice, and supreme skill with music is such an added bonus. My only worry with Gaga's character is that she might follow a similar path to Arthur from the first movie, but since this is only a teaser, we can't really gather whether that will change or not. So we'll just have to see come the next trailers and footage whether her arc is one that might have a different kind of ending. Overall though, I'm expecting a really great adaptation that embodies the chaos, the character descendancy, the art, the emotion, and the darkness that a Joker film should have. And while Joker 2 does have a big essence of music at its core, Todd Phillips and everyone involved appear to be using these elements to their advantage. But that was my video discussing my thoughts and breaking down the official trailer for Joker Folie A Deux. I will be doing much more videos during the build up to the film, including any new footage, images, or updates from Todd Phillips' Joker sequel. But if you've already seen the teaser trailer, let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of the first footage, alongside whether it gets you even more excited for what's in store. For more videos surrounding Todd Phillips' Joker 2 leading up to its release date, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.